Hi everyone, my name is Rahul. I'll do that again. And I'm the founder of Bachpan Save the Innocence. Bachpan Save the Innocence is a public trust, it's an NGO, and we have been working on child sexual abuse prevention for the past 3 years. I would just request all of you to think of 3 organizations in your mind which are working on clothes donations, like who donate clothes and everything. And now think of any 3 organizations who are working on food donations or maybe on distributing sanitary pads. So some names might be popping up in your mind. Now I would request you to think of 3 organizations who are working on child sexual abuse prevention. Some names might be coming, but very less probability because there are not many organizations working on child sexual abuse prevention in the country itself. So there are approximately, I think, 15 to 20 organizations who are doing, working on child sexual abuse prevention, like Save the Children India, Enfold India, Cry India. But of course, a few of them are working on such a large scale that they have different initiatives as well. So the question boils down to that: how many organizations are just working on child sexual abuse prevention? Very few. But we also know that the issue is huge, issue is large, but still not many people want to step into this issue due to, of course, a lot of complexities which we're going to discuss today. So, hi everyone, good morning. My name is Rahul, and I've been working on child sexual abuse prevention now for the past 5 years. My background has been, I've been a BTech mechanical engineer from Thapar University, Patiala. I worked in Capgemini, Bengaluru for approximately 18 to 20 months. Last year in September, I left my job to do Bachpan full time. And so it has been a bit of complex journey from being a person who was in mechanical to doing a job in IT and to work in social sector full time. So it has been very complex, but I would love to run you through, how all this basically happened. I still remember it was February 2018, and I hope you all might have heard about the Kathua rape case, which happened in Jammu Kashmir. It was evening, a month of February, and I just read the news and I started discussing it with few of my friends. And to be very frank, I was literally shocked to see such a brutal case. Of course, there have been many brutal cases, but somehow that environment was set up that I was really shocked, and I was literally crying for, I think, almost 2 to 3 days. I was not able to sleep for 2 to 3 days because I was feeling so helpless that we cannot do something for the child or something for the society when it comes to such problems. And that's how my journey started. So, I thought that maybe I'll start an initiative in my college, a small club in my college. I was in third year of my college at that time, where we can just teach children about good touch, bad touch in schools. That was in Punjab, Patiala. And maybe, we can try to help them out, try to, help them with the thoughts and everything. And that's how it started. So initially, I wouldn't say I was very empathetic to the cause, but it was just like because I wanted to have a satisfactory sleep. I was not able to sleep, and that's why I started working on this issue. And then around till 2019, end of 2019, I built that club and everything went nice, built a team. But somehow in our college we have to go for a 6 months internship, and then I was in Delhi for 6 months, and the team was operating in a different city where my college was. And then when I came back, there was an entire set of politics, and I haven't joined any other club in my entire college. I left all other clubs because I wanted to work on this initiative. So building that team and building that entire family. And then when I came back from Delhi to my college, the final year of my college, I saw that there was a lot of politics in the team, and because it was not a registered club, so they basically threw me out of that place that I started. So it was very shocking. It was very hurtful. I was just a college guy, and I was very hurtful and very angry, and I just came back from my college to my home, and that time was, I think, December 2020. So so all this kind of was happening out. And then when I came back to my home, I was sitting at my home for around 1 month, and that was the final year of my college. So it was January 2020, and now I started thinking that I have to work on the issue. I cannot sit like this, because someone did something. It doesn't mean that I can just stop working on the issue. And that's when I came back to my home in January 2020. And sorry, the thing happened in December 2019, not 2020. So came back to my home in January, and then started working on the issue. So the good and the bad thing about my city where I live is Panchkula, Haryana, is that there are no colleges in Panchkula, which means there are no volunteers in Panchkula, which means that it's very difficult to build a team. But fortunately, Chandigarh is a place near to my place, and then I started pitching to a few colleges, and that's how I started a new organization now, which is the name Bachpan Save the Innocence. I feel very glad and very grateful that all that incidents happened, because when I was working in the last club, we had only one program, that was Good Touch Bad Touch program. Now in Bachpan, in the past 3 years, we have around 13 different programs. We have been trying to rescue children. We have been trying to sponsor therapies. We have been trying to share stories of child sexual abuse. We have been trying to create online offline support groups for survivors of child sexual abuse. So what I just mean to say is that things happen, and of course a lot of you might have even bigger struggles, but for me at that time this was a huge struggle. So I'm very glad all this happened, and now I sometimes laugh and just giggle about all the incidents and how immaturely I acted, but it was something very transformative for me, and I really love that all that kind of incident. So this was the entire journey about how the organization started, and of course there were more struggles, but we can discuss that maybe later. But now I'll come to a few facts. So why child sexual abuse is a very, very critical issue, I would love to state some facts in front of you. First of all, boys are sexually abused too. A lot of people feel that only girls are sexually abused, but unfortunately, child sexual abuse, like other things, is not biased. It happens with everyone. So boys, girls, intersex children, any kind of child out there, everyone unfortunately has to face child sexual abuse. So 50%, the start of 2007 says that 54% of the children who have been sexually abused, they were boys, and rest 46% were girls. So majority of them were boys. That is the start of 2007 in Delhi. The second thing which makes it more complex is that 95% of the times the child sexual abuse happens when the victim is someone who is known to the child, or the culprit is someone who is known to the child. So that is the second thing which makes it more complex, that it is difficult for parents or adults to accept that how can the culprit be someone who already knows. The third which makes it more complex is that only 1% of cases of child sexual abuse are reported right now in a country. 99% cases are never even reported. The fourth fact which makes it even more complex, all the children who have been sexually abused, out of 33% of them tend to become culprits of child sexual abuse themselves. So when we kind of conduct these awareness workshops, we are not just doing prevention, but we are also helping the children who have been sexually abused, and we are preventing them from becoming abusers. And the fifth and the final, the problem with child sexual abuse is that you cannot blame anyone. And I feel that is true for any social issue out there. If we keep blaming, then of course we somehow forget the underlying problem, that why is this issue happening, and we keep just blaming each other. When we come to child sexual abuse, you cannot blame children because they are not taught about all these topics. You cannot blame parents because they are not aware about these topics, because when they were small, all this kind of taboo topics were not discussed, and now they don't know how to discuss them. If I talk about lawyers, the POCSO Act, that is the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act, the legal for child sexual abuse, that is not being taught in the LLM course as well. When I talk about police officers, because we kind of a lot of times blame the police officers, but when police officers trainings are being held, they are majorly trained how to deal with criminals, and very less they are trained how to deal emotionally with children. When I come to teachers, they have a particular skill set, but they are also not trained that how to deal with a child if they come and disclose their stories, or how to discuss the topics of safe and unsafe touch, private parts, adolescence, consent, gender identity, sexuality, and all these connecting topics. So the problem is that awareness is missing at every level. So there needs to be a structure where people at every layer can be aware and can be sensitized on different kind of workshops, and then by a holistic approach, maybe one day there would be very few cases of child sexual abuse. I would love to be addressing all these kinds of things, because when I was starting Bachpan, I had all these questions in mind, and I really wanted to create an organization where we can try to work on all these points. So now let me come to the next part, that what is Bachpan Save the Innocence and what work we do. So hi everyone, my name is Rahul. I'll do that again. And I'm the founder of Bachpan Save the Innocence. Bachpan Save the Innocence is a public trust, it's an NGO, and we have been working on child sexual abuse prevention for the past 3 years. So how do we work at Bachpan is that we work under 3 pillars, 3 verticals. The first pillar is sensitization programs. What I mean by sensitization programs is creating and conducting workshops for people at every layer, like children, teachers, youth, parents, lawyers, police officials, everyone, so that they can be aware on the particular topic and they know how to deal with it. When I come to children, importance of safe and unsafe touch, adolescence, sexual consent, digital well-being, gender identity, sexuality, cyber safety. These 7 topics we have just for children, because if you will not tell them about safe and unsafe touch, they cannot disclose about it. If you don't teach children, about the body changes happening during their adolescence, children will keep doing the body shaming thing. So there has been a case recently, which has been very viral, that a 30-year-old brother killed his 12-year-old sister, thinking that there were blood spots on her clothes, but he thought it to be that she was in some kind of physical intimacy with someone. So he tortured and killed her. So what can be more unfortunate like that? Because if boys are not taught about menstruation and these kind of cases keep happening, like how lower would we be as a person, right? So teaching children about menstruation, masturbation, pornography, body changes, emotional changes, mood swings, all these topics are very important, and how they're directly linked to child sexual abuses, because when you don't tell children about these things, it's very easy for anyone to groom them, because children will feel very lonely in the entire adolescence. So it is very important that we teach them about these topics so that they feel safe at their home with their parents, with their guardians, and they don't get victimized by groomers or pedophiles out there who can sexually abuse them. When I come to consent, that is the third topic. Children get into intimate relationships and everything, but if you don't teach them about boundaries, in a legal language, if someone gets intimate with each other below 18, that's a sexual abuse. And of course, we don't know, how the repercussions would be when we talk about the biological aspect of the body. So similarly, we have different workshops just for children, and then we have workshops for parents about, how child sexual abuse prevention is an adult responsibility. How they can respond, what are the rights, what immediately they should do if they kind of suspect such a case, or they doubt a child is, maybe getting sexually abused. Similarly, for lawyers, we have legal workshops like POCSO, JJ Act, and all other things. So this is the first pillar, where we have been working. Until now, we have sensitized more than 20,000 plus people through 400 plus workshops in the past 3 years. And last year only, we rescued around 100 plus children in Chandigarh, Panchkula itself, when we were given workshops. So that has been the impact here. Now, the second pillar, the name of the second pillar is IBY box. So IBY box is I Believe You box. And how this started is when we were giving a workshop, I think back in 2020. I think that was my third workshop in any school ever. And a child, came to me and she told me कि भैया ऐसे ना मेरे कुछ बड़े लोग हैं, मेरे ताया चाची हैं, उन लोगों के साथ भी ऐसा हुआ, बट वो किसी को बता नहीं पाए. तो क्या ऐसा होता है कि अभी भी कोई अगर अकेला होता है वो किसी को नहीं बता पाता? And that kind of put me into a very deep thought कि this is very serious. Still a lot of people are alone and they have to live with their journey alone, and they have no one to share their stories of child sexual abuse. So we thought of creating a small platform, maybe a Google form, where anyone can come and anonymously share their story of child sexual abuse, so that they feel good about it, and later we can curate those stories and put on our social media platforms. And when people outside they'll engage, they'll share the stories, and the particular person will feel very empowered about it, and maybe they can move on in their life. So that was the thought process behind starting this, and it went very well until now. We have shared more than 90 plus stories of child sexual abuse on our platforms, and I think we have around 110 or 120 entries, so we still have a lot to share. So this is the second platform we are working. Third platform is an extension of this platform. So when we were doing this IBY box platform, the survivors, whose stories were already there, they started texting us in the DM and Instagram that it's not possible for us to keep sharing the stories or keep sharing our thoughts, in the Google form itself. So can you do something that can you connect us to other survivors of child sexual abuse? And actually, that was a very good idea. So maybe we thought that we can start a support group only for survivors of child sexual abuse. And that's the third initiative which we're working on. And the name of the initiative is HOPE, that is Hold On Pain Ends. So Hold On Pain Ends is a support group only for survivors of child sexual abuse. It's on Discord, it's on WhatsApp, it's on Discord for people who want their identities to be anonymous. And it's on WhatsApp for people who want their identities, they are comfortable in sharing their identities. So we have around 50 to 60 people in both the groups. And what we do is, we invite psychologists, and we invite the psychologists to do Q&A for each people. And we also sponsor their therapies in case they are a college student or they don't have the funds because they cannot ask for funds from their parents because of the taboo of the issue. So we sponsor their therapies. We also do listening sessions with them. We do some virtual mulaqat where we share jokes and everything so that to create a bond of affection and they can keep moving ahead. So it's just kind of a community which we see in Hollywood movies where people can sit together and like a round table conference and discuss about their issue. So that's the intention behind the support group, and it has been online till now, but just from my itself we are starting it offline as well in Chandigarh, also in Delhi as well. So this is the entire work which we have been trying to do in Bachpan, and I know it's small right now, but with coming time we'll be able to expand and do more work. So now coming to the next thing, I think I have been telling a lot of personal profession, but I also want to tell you a few things which can be helpful for you. So now let's start discussing about some basics of child sexual abuse. So when I talk about basics of child sexual abuse, there are a few things which someone should definitely know when we talk about this topic. For example, who is a child? Like, what is the age of a child? Who is a person who is a child? Below what age? Like below 14 age, someone is a child. Below 16 age, someone is a child. Below 18 age, someone is a child. 20, like what age do you think it is? Legally, that someone is a child. So when I talk about legal perspective, anyone below 18 is a child. And that's important for you to know because when you will be handling such situation, and when we talk about child rights, they're only applicable for people who are below 18. Once you turn 19, those laws and those acts are not applicable for them. They're an adult. So anyone who is below 18 is a child. Anyone who is 18 is not a child. Right? So below 18. That is the first thing. Second thing which I want to mention is that when you talk about child sexual abuse, a lot of people feel that it's just physical. But that's not the situation exactly. Child sexual abuse is of three types. One is physical, one is verbal, one is visual. Physical, I mean, penetration into private parts of the child or maybe touching the child, in a way the child is not comfortable to perceive. So all this kind of sexual abuse are physical. So when I talk about verbal CSA, what I mean to say is that you comment on the child's private parts, right? Or you talk to a child in such a way about private parts that the child is not comfortable. Or you ask a child to remove their clothes. Or talk about pornography in a way that should not be talked about. The third, when I talk about visual child sexual abuse, is flashing your private parts in front of the child, masturbating in front of the child, asking child to remove their clothes and show their private parts to you. So all the three are in the category of child sexual abuse and all are punishable crimes. A lot of people also feel that if child sexual abuse is physical, then only it's traumatic. But verbal visual is not traumatic, but that's not true. Because the acceptance of physical child sexual abuse is still there. But if a child comes and tells you that the child has been verbally or visually sexually abused, then there are very less probability than someone believes the child. And that makes the trauma more for the child. So that's why I feel that all the three are equal in a way that we should accept all the three things which is happening around there, and we should not be blaming the child or asking them that this cannot be true or this might be false and all these things, because it's definitely going to increase the trauma. Okay? The third thing which all of you should know is that when we talk about child sexual abuse, and if you ever witness that or you ever know that there is a child who has been sexually abused, then the POCSO Act says that it is mandatorily to be reported. If you witness any child who has been getting sexually abused or is getting sexually abused, you will have to report it mandatorily under the law. If you don't report it, then you are a culprit for the law.